Hey, Sebastian.
Hey, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Perfect.
Great, thank you. How are you, everyone?
We'll just give it. Doing well, and you?
Great, perfect. Finishing my Labor Day with our first AMA. So excited.
Nice. We'll just give everyone. We'll give like a minute or two or three just for people to join up, and then we'll get started.
All right. Where are you
Sure,
located?
We're located in New York City.
Okay, nice.
And you guys?
We're spread out. Currently, I live in Spain, and I have the pleasure to have Sebastian with me for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So we're taking advantage of that.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. here. I think Manu is in London, but I think currently he's in the US for a trip, so he's on your timeline.
Okay. So everyone's very spread out then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Central time.
Okay. Yeah, it's always difficult with setting these things up to try and get it to fit everyone's time zones, not like just the developers, but also the community as well.
Yeah, I know. Community is spread all around the world. We have many Asian followers also, so it's kind of late for them. But I think this is recorded, right? They can hear it later.
Yeah. Twitter records it automatically, but then we're also recording it separately, and we'll post it to our YouTube and in our Discord, and we'll send you guys the link as well.
Perfect. Great.
Okay, cool. So I think let's get started. We can do like some introductions and stuff while everyone joins up, and I can talk through the overall format and the way that everything will go. So we'll start from our side, and then you guys can go ahead. So hi, everyone who's joined. This is Dean from the Algo Gaming Guild, and we have Aaron on as well. So today we have AMA with the Trantorian team. We have a few members from the team on who will introduce themselves shortly. The general way that this AMA will go, if you haven't attended one of our AMAs before, is we'll do introductions, and then we have a bunch of questions that we put together and some ones that we got from the community as well. And the goal of those questions is just basically to get some more information about the game, talk about the NFTs, the tokenomics, and stuff like that. And we put them into different categories as we go along. If anyone's listening and during the AMA wants to ask a question or wants us to ask a question for them, you can post it in our Discord. There's a Trentorian AMA channel, or the tweet that is tagged to the top of the space. You can also go there and you can comment, and we'll be able to ask it at some point during the session. And then if we have any time at the end, anyone who's listening can also pop up and ask any questions themselves as well. So that's the general way that it'll go. So I don't know who wants to start, but someone from the Trantorian team, when you guys want to introduce yourselves, talk a bit about your like background and stuff like that.
Sure. Perfect. I will start. I'm Sebastian. I'm one of the co-founders and COO of Indelv, the company that is making Trantorian. I'm also currently director at Inderatica. That is the parent company that is currently financing all the projects so far. And that's me.
I'm Nick. I'm the CEO of Indelv, and also, just like Sebastian, a director in Inderatica, the company that is funding. My background is technical. In reality, I'm a programmer by heart, although I have a major in marketing, and I've specialized in strategy and execution. But I love programming. I love games. I've been I'm a gamer myself. I actually met Sebastian playing Counter-Strike professionally quite a while ago. So this is everything, fun times.
Back in the 2000s.
Pretty interesting way to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, through headshots.
Nice. Manuel, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, sure. My name is Manuel. I'm actually the COO of Trantorian as well. I'm kind of in charge of the daily operations at the moment, and myself, I'm a lifelong gamer as well. Not that much Counter Strike, but lots of Diablo, lots of Dota, League of Legends. But yeah, I think we all kind of have the same background. I don't have a technical background, but I've been leading multidisciplinary teams for a long time, and actually I'm kind of doing lots of work regarding the social networking and media. You know, I'm always around Algo stuff. I really, that came out naturally.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. So I think before we delve into like the details and some of the questions, I don't know if one of you want to just, for anyone who joined the space and is not fully aware of your project, like just give a very short background or overview into exactly what Trentorian's about.
Sure. Yeah, Trantorian is Stellaris or endless space type of game, but real time and multiplayer. It also has like RPG elements, like a World of Warcraft with class types, units, spaceships. Everything taken to the space theme. Maybe instead of a healer, you have a repair ship. Instead of a row, you have a cloak ship. It has also a battle system, a deep strategic and algorithmic battle systems, like maybe a Total War. I'm naming games to without a graphic reference to help you guys, but all of that, everything in a persistent and growing metaverse with deep economics, maybe like an EVE Online. I think resumes like briefly. It's a very big project. I don't know, Nick.
Yeah, a couple of things that for us are very important is that although we're in the blockchain ecosystem, and because we believe in the blockchain, we believe in asset ownership, decentralization, governance, but the project for us is a video game first and foremost. So we want to create, to bridge between traditional video games and this blockchain hype that's been happening. That's why we are actually, and we're very proud of this, because we are actually creating a lore that we're just releasing chapters and chapters, but we have a magnificent lore behind everything, and we're already imagining how this plays out within the entire ecosystem. But and the important thing is it's a video game. It's a video game you want to play. It is not a pay to win. It is not a play to earn. It is not a glorify DeFi for us. It is a video game. So that's why everything we do, we do for the gameplay, for the game design, and for everything that ends up being a game you want to play, a game that we don't have to pay users to play as other projects are doing. We don't want that. We want a game. So that's the key of what we're doing.
I think like we could definitely see that when we went through your dark paper that's on your site, that you definitely get the impression from reading it that you guys are more focused on it being a good game, which is obviously something that there hasn't been a lot of in blockchain gaming these days, where a lot of the projects that come out are super focused on the earning aspect rather than the gameplay aspect, and the gameplay gets really boring really quickly. So was definitely good to read from our perspective, and thanks for giving that insight. So I think we can jump into the questions. The first category, which is just basically like how everything started and like why Algorand. So one of the questions we got from Z Hamster in our Discord was just how long have you guys been in development before landing on Algorand? And then what also made you decide on Algorand versus other chains?
Sure, I'll take this one. We started the idea of the game that we wanted to play, we wanted to create, started quite a while ago. We had a full Medium article explaining, so I don't want to go into a lot of details. I'll go into anything you want, but just to not reiterate, the decision on Algorand, it was a chain that we've been following for quite some time. Again, my background is technology programming. I'm a big fan of Algorand. I've been following since the beginning. I was in charge of doing the research of the blockchains, and I've researched every blockchain and a few that many people don't know, and just Algorand is superior in every single way that we analyze. And since we're not interested, but we're not focused on a DeFi economy. We're interested in a sustainable economy within the game. And as you may know, we're not going to create a coin for the game. So Algorand provides the technological background and basis for everything we want to achieve, and has proven to be, the most stable blockchain we've seen, with the fastest development time. They've done in 2 years what others have done in 4. They have an amazing team behind, which many know, but foundation is amazing. Everyone there is amazing. We had an amazing call to Stacy, for example, on the Ink side. They're amazing as well. They're helping us in every way they can. So not only the technology, but also the team behind it, which for me is key into this. Probably in another blockchain, we wouldn't have access to the type of support we're getting on Algorand.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. We found the same thing as well when we started up originally. We've had lots of conversations with PG from the foundation, which I know he said he's going to try and jump on towards the end as well, and might have a few questions. I think so. Another question we had, this was just one that we put together, is just like, what was your guys' inspiration for the game originally, or like how did the game idea come about?
Well, just like Sebastian said, we played every single game out there, from O Game to Civilization to Endless Space, Stellaris, anything you can think of, and we're space fans. We love the concept of space explorations. We had the amazing opportunity of getting a private tour at NASA's JPL in Pasadena, which blew our mind. Going to the Cape Canaveral. Everything related to space for us is a passion. So of course, this is something that combines a lot of what we like. And for big fans of Civilization type of game, or 4X games, we've seen that most 4X games are turn-based, single player, where the AI always falls short because it's very hard to do, or with a limited multiplayer. And then everything jumped to a kind of an EVE Online or a Star Citizen or a No Man's Land, where it's more of an action game. But we haven't seen these, this in between. So that's how I see the inspiration. I don't know. I know Sebastian is probably has more to say about it.
Yeah, I think Nico already briefed everything, but we are deep fans of everything related to space. I'm also a programmer, as Nick. At some time, we both were programming our own games, and I had an idea. This happened many times since we are partners, and I told him I have this idea for a game. We were entering in everything related to blockchain at the moment. This was like a few years ago. We always wanted to do a big game, a deep game. We are used to make short games for marketing experiences and commercial products, but this was like, okay, we are old enough. We have our other company and can fund this, and we both loved the idea. We thought the time was right, and yeah, we jumped on Trantorian.
Great, that's helpful insight. I think that we could now just delve into like a bit of the gameplay specifics and mechanics. I know a lot of this is covered in your dark paper, but one question we had also from Z Hamster in our Discord just said there's two different, obviously, ways of playing the game. One is Space Tycoon, one is Fleet Commander. Do you have to choose between the two, or can you be both? And then what are the differences between the two game modes, and how are they related?
You can play both. The thing is, depending on the NFT you have, for example, a spaceship NFT enables the Fleet Commander type of game, and land enables the Space Tycoon type of games. Both games complement each other. Like, for example, Space Tycoons develop the planetary systems, the space stations, where then Fleet Commanders will, load fuel, buy and sell resources, upgrade their ships. Space Tycoons can create, buildings on the planet to, create mini games and other, services for Space Tycoon. So you can play both, or if you, let's say that the Space Tycoon is more like, a SimCity type of game where you have to develop the planet, the population, buildings, government, and that type of game. And the Fleet Commander is more like explore the galaxy, trading, fighting. So you can choose anyone, or you can play both. You should have, of course, both type of NFTs to play both, but you can.
One thing related to the second part of your question, Dean, about the difference. We always think about Trentorian as a living organism, a living economy, in which not only you have these two main careers, if you want, which you can do both, but also they relate and they provide feedback to each other. And within each, you don't have different layers that you can play according to what you enjoy best. As a Fleet Commander, there's the three main mechanics, if you want to call them that, are trading, exploring, and open world battle. But everything is related and the Space Tycoon also has layers, because you have the planetary system governance, and then you have your own land where you can provide services, and there's competition within your own planetary system, and then there's competition for market with other planetary systems. So it's a very live economy, a profound economy. That's what we like to think about it.
So it's basically more like you're finding your role within the ecosystem, you could call it, and that it doesn't specifically fit into like two specific buckets. It's just within those buckets there's different roles that you could take on. Like, I guess if I play Star Citizen, like that sort of thing, where you could be someone who's delivering goods across the star system, or you're fighting in battles and stuff like that.
Exactly. And the layers are when you start to add the guilds, the guild factor, and the ladder and PvP battle system, and the ladder and everything. You get to see even more interaction into how exploring is important for the guilds to get resources on those planetary systems. And all of these are things that it's we're trying very hard to communicate, but it's hard to communicate concisely on a very profound project. So but what you said, you get to find your own way, and you can do a little role, you can do a little bit of everything, and there's very different gameplay for either the Space Tycoon and the Fleet Commander.
That sounds great, thanks. So another question was just like maybe just understanding a bit more about how you guys intend on doing the battle system and how those like each battle would work. I know your dark paper talks a little bit about there being a selection of battle formations. So if you can just expand on that.
Absolutely. A lot of things, just to clarify, are still, we're doing a lot of game design, conversations about it, always trying, every iteration, we try to find the fun. So, that's part of just to clarify that. But basically, the way that the battle system works is we have two main type of battles. One is the open galaxy, which is what we would know as open world, and the other one is the ladder and the PvP type of battle. The open galaxy is the way to engage in a battle is one of the fleets have to be a space pirate. Anybody can be a space pirate, and the way the space pirate works is they hide on a route, they intercept a route. There's a chance for interception. Once the interception takes place, the battle takes place. You can be a bounty hunter as well, which is you go out and hunt pirates, and we can get into details about that. Specifically within the battle, you have you select, like you said, you select a tactical view in which it's kind of a grid system where you position your spaceships in the battle, and position is very important because spaceships have attack reach, attack speed, and other stats that you would find in a regular RPG game. Type of damage, type of defense. But you also have class types for spaceships. This is something that it's very fun for us, in which, like Sebastian said in the beginning, in other games you have healers, support type. Here you would have repair ships and so forth. You also have a general strategy which defines, it steers the auto resolve system on how it's going to try to handle. It could give you a buff for something, or it could give you a debuff. It could give you try to retreat if you can. There's a lot of layers there. The battle itself, it's auto resolved. You can see it in 3D, in real time. You can see how it plays out, and it has there's kind of a it's not a turn-based, but it's rather a real time where, depending on the attack speed, how many the damage that you do if a spaceship, the grid or the battlefield defines also how the battle takes place. There's a lot of layers there. I don't know, Sebastian, if you want to get deeper into some of the mechanics.
One thing besides the bounty hunter and pirate that is both played by humans, like it's something that player can choose to be. There's also like a PvE battles that when you are navigating the galaxy, we have in mind like a heat map of security zones that you will get random encounters, like in games like Final Fantasy, where you're moving through the galaxy, and then an NPC fleet attacks you, and you also have that kind of battles, not only against humans and other human fleets. And I think related to the battle system, you said it well. It's mixed between turn-based and real time, because depending on the velocity of every spaceship, that is what makes one move first. And it's, I don't know if you guys play something like Endless Space, that you can select strategy. You have, of course, inside the fleet your spaceships, and you can see the fight, the battle in real time, but you can't control it. It is composed by a few turns, but you can see the fight. Or if you don't want to see it, you can just look at the result and then see the log learn, and we think that between the different type of classes of the spaceships, the different strategies, the different type of fields where you're playing, that may affect the battle. Like if you're close to a wormhole or close to a neutron star, everything will give you perks or benefits, or depending on the fleet you have. We think that the battles will have like many outcomes, and that will give like a deep PvP system. The game will be split in seasons, and every season will bring new type of ships, and we intend to create like a meta that is dynamic and diverse and change through seasons. So players can are incentivized to use the marketplace to try new combinations, new combos between different spaceships and different strategies, different grid positions. I think one of the most profound parts of the game is the battle system. It's like a game on their own.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. So it's basically like I guess like some of the auto battler games, like Teamfight Tactics and stuff like that, where you're selecting your formation up front, and then you watch the battle take place, sort of thing, and then you can learn from what happened for like your next battle, which I think is really, really cool, like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got me there. I'm the fan of TFT.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think it's a good example of exactly the way it works. I know also, like, if we talk about blockchain games, like the card game Splinterlands, that is also, you select your cards up front that you're playing, and then you sort of watch the battle take place, and not making live decisions during the battle. But I think that's helpful to get some insight into the game. One of the questions I had specifically is, I know the entire metaverse that you guys are making or evolve over time, that it would be like a persistent universe. Is there a limit to how many players you would have that would be allowed into the universe at a time or in total? Is there any limitations around that, like from a server space perspective?
We intend to create something, algorithmically, that can escalate and increase no matter what the amount of players, but taking into account the amount of players, even the new NFTs, the new spaceships that are minted, the new land that came into into the game season after season. Everything to be related to how the ecosystem grows, how many players get into a season. That let's say, I will give you an example. Let's say we start in season 1 with 10,000 players, and those players will be exploring. Like, the game will be composed of 3 rings. The galaxy. The first ring is where everything starts. The known galaxy, where the home base and near planets are located. And there is a second ring that can be explored during that season. That will be a very extensive ring that will be prepared for, like, maybe duplicates or triplicates and the number of players on that season. And through explorations, taking your fleet to the borders of the known galaxy, you can explore it. And you, of course, you have only one fleet. You will explore like 0.1% of the unexplored galaxy. So if many players join on that same season, that second ring will be explored more, and on the next season, the galaxy, the known galaxy, will be much bigger. So depending on how many players are coming into the game will grow based on that. And when exploring the new ring, new planets will appear that guilds will fight for it during the season, that those the land on those planets will be on sale for the next season. So we are we intend to create everything to grow exponentially. We know some games like Axie went from 40,000 players on a month, and 2 months later had 2 million users. I don't know if we will be prepared for something like that, but we will do our best. But yeah, we intend to make it to grow along with the ecosystem.
One thing to clarify on the last part is that we are very conscious about growth. That's why we already have predefined, alphas and betas and closed betas and so forth. And what Sebastian is talking about is that we wanted to do a controlled growth to have a good experience. I mean, we're not here for the bells and whistles. We prefer to have a little bit of less players, but for them to have a good experience. And related to the grow, we want to be very clear before any transaction takes place. We want to be as clear as possible about how the entire ecosystem is going to grow, because although we're not focusing or talking about financials or anything, because this is a game, we understand that there may be valuables involved. So we want to be clear on how the universe and the galaxy is going to grow, what's going to happen, and we want to allow players to join and enjoy the game. But we're going to be asking for a lot of patience to make sure that we have a very safe growth, so the game doesn't fall down or anything. So we're going to be more limiting in that sense.
Yeah, I think that's super important, especially with the whole ecosystem within the game, like evolving over time. One other thing I wanted just and this is another question about the universe. Are you guys designing all of it up front, or is it like AI generated, like the way No Man's Sky does it for like their universe?
It's we generated season by season.
Okay.
So what Sebastian was talking about with the three, concentric circles, the known galaxy is defined by us with all the planetary systems there. The unknown, which is the second circle, is think of it as a fog of war type of mechanic, but it's pre-designed where the planetary systems are going to be. But the amount, the number of planetary systems is going to be algorithmic based on the players. However, every single planetary system, since we're talking relatively low amount because they're fractional NFTs, we are creating a specific lore for each system.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting, and that would make sense. You guys can develop it over time. I think the last question I just have on gameplay specifics and mechanics is just what devices or platforms are you guys planning to release the game
on? We intend to release first. The game is being developed in Unity, and we intend to release first on Windows and Mac desktop, and follow it by Android and iOS operating systems. I don't know, Nick, if I left something.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, we're talking about a computer game. We have thoughts about being mobile or console, but that is really far-fetched at this point. There's a lot of, we're trying to create a game that has depth, but low complexity. But still, it is a strategy game, and it's not as easy to play on a mobile platform. So there's going to be a lot of roadmap for us to change the UI and UX to achieve that.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a game that's more suited towards playing on PC anyway, so that makes sense. Okay, so the next category we just wanted to talk through is talking about in-game assets and NFTs. And I know you guys, there's a little bit on tokenomics later, which you guys obviously have a very interesting and different tokenomics system, which we can talk through. The first question we just had is, and I know we've spoken a little bit about them, but walk through the different types of NFTs that you guys have, and like their own unique characteristics and benefits of owning.
Sure. There are 4 main NFTs that we're thinking initially. We have the spaceships, which are the core for the fleet commander. We'll talk about the details later. You have the land, which are the core for the space tycoon. And then you have 2 more. One is the NFT, the blueprints, which we'll get into the details. But those are the way that new spaceships are, created or minted into the ecosystem. And then on a second iteration, we're going to be bringing heroes as an NFT as well. There are basically enhancements for either your land or your fleet. And we are also discussing, talking about making some visual enhancements, also NFTs, but not as, as a playable NFT, more of a visual enhancement, skins and stuff like that. But those are the main NFTs. There are tiers for the spaceships, which we can talk about. Sebastian can go deep into that. And each land is 1% of a planetary system using the fractional NFTs of Algorand, which also gives you 1 vote for the planetary system governance, not to confuse with the full decentralized governance, which will come later on a roadmap. So I don't know if there's any specific question that you want us to answer about the NFTs or.
Yes, I think like you were saying about the different levels of the spaceships. I know one part that I read in your Git book or your dark paper was the fact that the different rarities or different levels of spaceships they don't specifically have in-game advantages, but it's more perks like in-game event spots, DAO votes, node operator licenses, and stuff like that. Can you guys just expand a little more on that? We love that concept about having it not be pay to win. Specifically, so it'd be good to just get a bit more background on it.
Yeah, I can take that. We are currently creating a second Medium post talking about this, but I can talk about a few of these items. NFTs will have different tiers. You can call it rarities or alike. Like you said, we intend not to give them to give the players advantages through different tiers of NFTs, different tiers, especially on the PvP ladder and tournaments. We are thinking something like, I don't know, if you play Clash Royale, for example, a mobile game where you can level up your cards through a very high level, and you should have advantage through a low level player. But if you play tournaments or ladder, everything is capped to a certain level that is easy to reach through some time of play, but we are expecting 1 month to reach that playing a month. You should reach that time. And so on the open world, you can keep escalating, expanding your fleet. I can go into detail. For example, if you're a fleet commander and you accomplish missions and exploration missions, trading quests, you will go high. You will increase in the ranks of the Galactic Union, and as you increase your account, your account rank, you will receive some perks. One is command points. Command points limits the size of the fleet. And let's say, for example, you have a very high rank as a fleet commander, and in the open world you have a fleet of 20 ships because you have 20 command points, and 20 small. Every small ship has 1 command point. But on the ladder, on the tournament, everything will be capped at I don't know, at 10. We are still thinking about that number. We are making balancing. So that's one of the ways we are thinking about making the game as less pay to win as possible, especially the ladder and tournament. And most of the benefits from having high tier NFTs are like in-game head enhancements, out-game benefits like to be part of a special group, to have fees, transaction fees that you don't have to pay. We are thinking about all of those benefits, but everything will be detailed on this second post we are about to release, maybe in the next week or fall. I don't know, Nick, if I'm surely missing a lot of things, but
no, I think it's fine. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of depth, a lot of things going on. So, Dean, anything that we want to delve deeper, more than happy. So just let us know.
No, I think you guys covered that all perfectly, and obviously looking forward to reading that second Medium article as well. I know the one thing I wanted to just talk a little bit about, and if you guys haven't fully determined this yet, that's fine as well. So I know you guys are going to have the NFT land rights specifically, and I know that brings about like governance voting within that specific planet, if I understand it correctly. So I just want to find out, how do you guys intend on distributing the land rights, and is it going to be the sort of thing where like you can buy specific land on a specific planet so that you could try and own so much percent for like a governance perspective? I'm not sure if you guys have thought through that yet or have a plan for that, but if you can give some insight on that, that'll be good.
For the first season, we will run a pre-sale of these first 50 planets. That number may change depending on the community, how it grows. It grows before the release. Players will be able to buy any number of land. They will be able to choose if they want it on the same planet. On the pre-sale, everything will be you won't know which planet you are buying. Like, it's kind of a lottery. You will be buying, and you will, if you're lucky, you will get one of the planets that is close to the home base, the capital. That we think it would be a more valuable trade route, just because it's like close to the center of the Galactic Union. But there will be some limitations on the first pre-sales. Like, for example, no player will be able to buy more than 50% of one planet land, because that will the planet will have like a different type of government. And one is a dictatorship that to enable that kind of government, one player or one guild should have more than 50% of of the votes of an election. So we don't want to start with dictatorships that may discourage some players. But through strategy, once the metaverse starts, offers can be made, and that kind of government will be able to be played. I don't know if that answered the question.
No, that answers the question. I think it'll make for a very interesting economy in terms of people trying to buy land as well. So that's great. I think the last part about the NFTs is, I know you guys will have an NFT marketplace in game, and I know there's some discussion I think it was in your dark paper or your tokenomics, about being able to have the renting of NFTs by using the freeze and clawback functionality on Algorand. And if you guys would just give a bit of a background into like your NFT marketplace that you're planning and any unique functionality.
Sure. Sorry for that. A few things to clarify. There are some elements like the scholarship that you were talking about, and other elements that do leverage on Algorand's fees and clawback, but everything, because this is something that raised a lot of eyebrows, everything that we're doing is going to be controlled by the smart contract, not by somebody manually being able to do anything. But having said that, the idea is you're going to have the ability to offer your spaceship to a pilot that's going to be, on the marketplace. I mean, I'm not talking about the usual marketplace buy and sell NFTs. Everyone knows that. But you'll also have the ability to offer contracts. You can offer your spaceships and create a contract that's going to be on the blockchain. You can say what's the revenue, share that you want for how many months and everything. And then a pilot can just get that chip and automatically goes to the wallet. They can use it. It's free, so they can't sell it. Then it goes back. All of that is embedded in the marketplace as well. And we're also exploring other ways to to bring the financing options that you have in the real world as a way for you to use it in the game as well, which we'll explore on a future article. I don't know, Sebastian, you were going to say something, but I think that's the main what we want to achieve, everything to be controlled by the smart contract. And the idea for the clawback is to use, we're going to be implementing some tax on the land. And everything we do is to entice players, right, to play the game, not to just, hold and just, make the game boring because nobody's there. We want to make it better for everyone to play. So everything we do in terms of taxes and everything is going to be very, very easy to pay if you play the game. So the idea of a clawback is to be controlled automatically by a smart contract, that if you don't pay the taxes on the land and it gets overdue by X amount of time, then the land gets revoked and it goes on sale on some mechanism that we haven't defined, either in the next season or the same one. But how much the tax is going to be and for how long the overdue needs to be before the clawback activates, we're going to define that initially, and eventually that's going to be controlled by the governance of the entire Trantorian.
Okay, that's super interesting. And I think people will love being able to do that in an NFT marketplace, which I know is one of the things that we get asked about a lot as well, is the ability to be able to rent NFTs to everyone. Okay, so I think that covers all the questions we had specifically about gameplay and stuff like that. The next category, which is obviously very interesting because you guys took a very unique route, is talking about your tokenomics. So I know the one question we had here from Discord from Z Hamster was, can you guys explain in simple terms the infrastructure units? And then obviously also talking about node operator licenses and stuff like that comes with it.
Sure. The infrastructure units are, think of it as a package of actual infrastructure nodes. And the main one that we're thinking of is the Pocket Network. I don't know if everybody here is familiar with it, but it has a partnership with Algorand, and it allows all the blockchains to grow faster. It's a very interesting project. So what we want to create is an ecosystem where the NFTs have, on one end, some sort of insurance value, if you want. Like, the NFTs should never go below what the infrastructural unit is backing, whatever value it is. So that value contains a set of either a pocket node. It contains some algo yet to be defined. We're thinking there's one coin, a green coin, that we're thinking about still to be defined. And we're going to be very clear about every spaceship, every NFT, every land, how, in which percentage it's backed by what. So we're going to be very clear about it when everything before the initial transaction. Regarding the operating licenses for nodes, that's something that is very in the future. We're focusing on the game right now, but the architecture that we're thinking for the servers is something that we are exploring, and we are orienting everything so this can become a decentralized server system as well. And at that point, those nodes for the Trentorian ecosystem will need a license to operate. Similar like a blockchain, but focus on gaming. But it's very early to discuss at this stage.
Okay, yeah. I know, and then just another question regarding the infrastructure units. So if the NFTs are backed against the infrastructure units, is there like a yield that's being earned on those infrastructure units? Is that yield used by you guys, or is a portion of it distributed to the owners of the NFTs? Like, just a little bit of understanding on that part of it.
There's some part that goes to maintain the nodes themselves, and there's some part that is used for rewards. It is not distributed automatically just by holding. It's not a passive yield, but the idea, whatever yield it generates, there's a percentage that is going to be distributed for the players that complete the season's quest. So the idea is, it's a balancing mechanism. Imagine you log into the game and you get a message and you see that already, let's say 100 players are the only ones who completed all 3 quests. So that yielding is going to be, those rewards are going to be just 100 people. So it's going to be a lot. So that entices you to complete the quests. And the season quests are going to have enough variations, so you're going to have a quest that is going to focus on exploration, another one's going to be focused on trading, the other one's going to be focused on battling in the open galaxy, and there's going to be like a major quest for each season that contains to build a mega structure for the whole galaxy. So again, we want to entice participation. So we're not going to give passive yield just by holding, but we're going to giving rewards that are true rewards, not parameter rewards, not that comes from other players, but from these projects, from these nodes. We're going to be providing rewards for the players who actually play the game and do the season quests.
Okay, and I guess that just generally makes the whole system a little more sustainable than you guys releasing a token that's constantly being distributed out like a lot of the other games in blockchain. I think, and then one question that just leads on to this, which Z Hamster asked from Discord, was the tokenomics mentioned that you have no game token, only algo. What is the main play to earn mechanism, which I'm assuming it's just the earning of the NFTs and these blueprints that you guys brought up before. But that's the one question. And the second one I had adding on to that is like, what was the main driver behind you guys not releasing a token?
Okay, I can answer the first one. There are like 2, ways to earn. One is like completing, the quests that will reward players with probably algos or like. The other one is by playing, by exploring, by battling. You will loot, and you may receive like a blueprint that mixed with resources and materials from the in-game economy. You will be able to create a new spaceship NFT, so that you are free to then go and sell it on the marketplace or whatever. So it's kind of like on the old, not so old days, but on Diablo 2, 3, you get a drop of very rare item and you could sell it on PayPal or wherever. Well, here will be everything inside our marketplace. So that's how players will be able to earn. And what was the second question?
It was just why you guys chose not to release a token specifically.
I'll take that.
Okay.
There's a lot of reasons.
I think it's a mixed philosophy. And okay.
No, go ahead. I think either I have a huge delay or you do, but go ahead, Sebastian. I don't know if it's me. Are you guys hearing me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so it's probably Sebastian. I'll take that.
Okay.
There's a couple of key points there. There's a Medium article that expands on that. There's a philosophy first that we just don't believe every project should have its own, coin unless it adds utility to something. We always give the example. Imagine if you want to buy a computer, you have to first go and buy the coins for the computer maker and then buy it. If you want to buy a car, you have to buy the car maker's coins and then buy it. I mean, we do have forms of exchange to solve that. So just to add that, it's something that we just don't believe. On the other end is when you have a coin, then you have a responsibility to look after that, right? So you need to dedicate a lot of time to make sure that that coin, the economy, the volatility, the liquidity, there's a lot of elements that you need to take care of, and we prefer to focus our resources into, again, building the game and the metaverse itself. And then there's a lot of middle ground in which a token, if we create a token or coin, number one, it's not going to be more stable than the network we're in by definition. It's not going to be more decentralized than the network we're in. So we just don't see that as a need, except for other projects that do it for funding necessities. But we just don't think that having token just to have one makes sense for us.
I think that makes perfect sense, and I think just generally the way your tokenomics are written up, it seems to work for what you guys are trying to do. I know, and this is probably a very detailed question, but when I was reading through your dark paper, I know it was talking about the fact that there's could be ads on the planetary system space billboards, and that there could be income generated on those, and it would be split amongst governance rights owners. That income, is that Algo specifically, or is that just some sort of in-game non-NFT resource?
There's a lot to discuss on that end, but the idea is that
that's going to be
Algos. We're thinking to make all transactions in Algo, and every income will be split to maintain the game and to increase the rewards.
Okay, I think that's helpful insight, and that would make sense. So I think the last question, well, we only have 2 or 3 more questions. So during the time that I'm asking these questions, if there's anyone who's on the space from the community that wants to jump up and ask a question, you can request to be speaker so long. Well, I'll just go through these last few questions just to make things as efficient as possible. One question we just want to find out is what are your planned pre-sale events? How will you be doing whitelisting for those NFT sales?
That's something that we yet to define. We don't have the details, so we'll definitely inform that as we have it. But it's still early in the development to answer specifics about it.
Okay. And then we have a question from Z Hamster from Discord. It said, do you have any big marketing plans for the next few months aside from this AMA? Trentorian looks very promising, but seems to have very limited publicity in Overran to date.
We do. There's a reason for that. We don't want to overgrow in terms of the community. We've been reached by, we've spent 0 in influencers and streamers and anything, but we've been contacted by several that are very interested in the project, very important ones. But again, we want to be very conscious about growth in the community because, it's a long development plan, and we just want to focus on the development. But there are big things planned ahead. That's for sure.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, and I know, like, I've seen with some other projects as well, like if you go too crazy on the marketing when you're still a while out from the actual game, you get a whole bunch of people in your community who are then waiting around, sort of thing. So I think that's good that you guys are going that route. Another question from Ziam said, do you have any plans to partner or collaborate with existing Algorand projects or platforms/creators? Or are you applying for, or do you intend to apply for Algorand Foundation grant?
A lot of things. Some things we can't disclose a lot, but we are meeting with a lot of companies, a lot of potential partnerships. We analyze the technology. We analyze anything that could be, good for our ecosystem, for the development of the game. We will definitely explore, and we're doing several calls about them. As soon as everything that we do that is defined, confirmed, those things will definitely make publicly available.
Okay, that's great. So I think that's all the questions we had, and all the questions that were posted on our Discord and Twitter. Does anyone, just like asking one last time, does anyone who's listening have a question they want to ask, or anything they want to say to the Trantorian team before we end this AMA? While we wait to see if anyone wants to come up, I just want to thank you guys for making the time to talk to us today. We obviously love being able to talk to the different gaming projects and get the community like some information and answers about your guys' projects. I think this AMA was great, and you guys gave a lot of really good insights and stuff like that. We will, like I said at the start, we will have a recording. We'll post it to our YouTube and put it in our Discord, and we'll send you guys the link as well, so that you can have it.
Right. Thank you. As you know, we're very reachable. Manu is definitely reachable. We're all reachable. If we don't answer, it's either because we're sleeping or focusing on building this. But we're on Discord, we're on Twitter, we're reachable in a lot of channels. So definitely, I appreciate the time, and anytime.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Yep. Hope you and everyone listening has a great weekend.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for the space. Bye, guys.